So I wanted to talk about why straw phonation is not the be all end all vocal warm up that some singers believe that it is. So if you have been around on the internet consuming singing related content for a while, you might have come across this idea of straw phonation, where you take a straw and you put it between your lips and you just kind of buzz through the straw. And what it is designed to do in most cases is to kind of help the throat relax. It takes some of the pressure and the work off of the vocal folds, helps to get a more even airflow, all of which can be very therapeutic and very relaxing to the voice after a long or intense practice session. In cases of returning to singing after illness and want to be careful about the amount of work you're putting on your vocal folds, or to just cool down your voice after a long day of talking. So, the straw is a fantastic therapeutic tool for any of these cases if it works for you. I have seen cases where this technique has not worked for singers and it has actually caused more tension in their throats and more issues with their breath. So, all that to say is not every tool is for everyone, but if the straw does work for you, it is a fantastic therapeutic tool. However, I don't think that it is a very good warm up tool. And here is why. Because when we warm up our voices, we want to make sure that we are gathering as much information about our instruments as we can. So we want to make a variety of simple sounds to gauge, how does our breath feel? How do our articulators feel? How are we connecting breath to sound? If you are using the straw as your primary warm up tool, you can only gather so much information about your voice by using a straw because you are singing through this tiny, tiny tube and you are only able to make a limited range of sounds. So if you are a person who knows that they tend to sing with a lot of pressure in their breath, for example, or a lot of tension in the throat, and the straw helps you to correct those things in your singing, by all means, use it as part of your warm up. But don't just blow mindlessly through the straw and consider that a warm up and call it a day because there's a lot of other information that you should be gathering from your instrument that you can't get with the straw. In general, with tools, whether it's a straw or any other tool that we might use to help us with our singing, we want to make sure that we are not using the tool as a crutch or as like a magic panacea that's going to solve issues XYZ in our singing without us having to think about it because singing doesn't work that way. We sometimes wish that it did. That would be a lot simpler. It would be a lot easier, but that is not the reality. I see a lot of singers rely too heavily on tools like the straw, and they sort of just mindlessly blow some scales into the straw and then go about with the rest of their singing. But the reality is that is not going to improve your technique. If you really want the tool to work for you, you have to be able to observe what your body is doing, what your voice is doing while you are using the tool. And then you have to be able to access that technique or that feeling or that sensation without the tool in order to actually implement that in your singing. So, someone who struggles with breath pressure, for example, the straw might really help with that. But if they're not mindfully thinking about how does my breath behave differently with the straw? What is the straw helping me to do? If they're not thinking about those things while they're using the straw, they're not going to fix their breath pressure when they have to sing without the straw. So that's what we should be doing with tools. We should be asking ourselves, what is the goal of the tool? What is it helping me to do? And is there a way that I can replicate what sensations or motions in my body that the tool is causing when I have to put the tool aside and sing regular sounds?